the situation, I came back to my senses. At that time as well, I was working at a retail distribution centre out near the Everglades, and once again my interest had taken a twist. We had the tailwinds of a hurricane coming through the county. It was a blustery morning when I arrived ready for the job. As the rain poured and the storm hit, our power started failing. The supervisor called my department together and reassured us that we were going to be leaving because of the storm surge. While being told they were releasing us by the different departments, I watched with my associates as the staff of Executive Row was leaving first, followed by the secretaries and other staff members from the front of the company. I was in the warehouse with 400 co-workers waiting for the release. Doors to other exits were already locked because there were massive separations of departments. I was the only man in my department who acted as a floater between 3 sections, so once the official notice came to evacuate, I led my co-workers through an alternate door that my badge could open for them. By then, the water on the roof was weighing in heavily, and in certain places the panels collapsed, sending torrents into shipping stations for freight. One of the supervisors sent a call on the radio for extra hands to come help secure the department. I followed a group of co-workers to the spot and began shutting off the machines, then tossing protective covers on them. Each time the power flickered and the metal groaned from water weight, I kept looking at the nearby generators and thought of Joseph Bell and the entire engineering department of the Titanic, who kept the power going until the final plunge. At this time, I was able to look out on the loading docks and watch the water climbing up slowly. Although normally the company frowned on people playing music while working, with everything else going on, they were more lenient, so I opened the MP3 player on my cell phone and started to play selections from the White Star Line songbook. As rainwater filled the docks and started flooding into storage rooms and offices, I decided to be sarcastic and sent a text message to my wife. SOS, NGY, require immediate assistance, struck by iceberg, 4146 north, 5014 west, sinking by the head, engine room flooding. With everything secured to the best of our ability, the radio called for remaining department crews to leave. I changed the song track to Nearer My God to Thee, as I opened another emergency exit nearby and walked through a flooded section before reaching the parking lot. I drove home, soaked to the bone and shivering badly. After calling Cindy and letting her know I made it back, I jumped in the shower and changed into fresh clothes. Still feeling the mild coolness from the water, I made a cup of tea and curled up in my steamer blanket. Among the items in my collection that I treasure, and even now chuckle whenever I gaze at it, is a series of paintings which were done for me by my old friend Rodrigo Negrera. Back in high school, he was my right-hand man in creativity, who provided illustrations for almost all of my writing projects and short stories. Whenever I'd bring up the Titanic, he'd roll his eyes like a lot of my classmates did, but to egg me on, he would refer to the ship as my boat. Years later, we would reconnect, and to my surprise, he presented me with a series of paintings showing elements of my boat, done in his own style, of course. We also traded roles, as I gave advice on writing stories, while Rodrigo taught me the basics on creating depth when it came to drawing. Under his teachings, I was able to create a series of paintings showing the brief life of the Titanic, each time becoming more detailed as the skill was practiced. Once finished, I placed them into a folder and then added them into my Titanic scrapbook, which holds various photos, newspaper articles and clippings related to the ship that I had gathered over the years. Opening the scrapbook is similar to reading the notebook of Victor Frankenstein once you pass through the newspapers to find the reports done in high school, autographs from authors of books about the Titanic, notes to myself at the age of 18, reminding what classes I'd need to take for a major in marine archaeology when starting college. Finally, you come across my first commentary as a freelance journalist, and then, at last, a thick green folder holding my own paintings, which I decided to name after my lecture script. Titanic, the Legacy Remains, a collection of images portraying the life and demise of the RMS Titanic, May 31st, 1911 to April the 15th, 1912. Which in turn takes us full circle. I don't know what lies ahead in the road of life, but somewhere behind, a young boy is sitting in a darkened movie theatre with his grandfather, looking in awe at images of a grand ocean liner.